Emeka, can you hear me?
Yeah, Gbenga, you're welcome here. Hi everyone. Good evening to you if you're in Nigeria or anywhere where it's evening. Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you wherever you are, whatever the time is. Welcome here again. I'm really seeing the numbers. We have over 19 people watching across multiple platforms. I want to say thank you all. All right, so for those of us on YouTube, I basically would just be most of the questions you can ask would focus more on YouTube live questions, but of course, the link to the slide where you can ask your questions are up. We sent it via mails to you. Some of you got it through WhatsApp, and it's practically everywhere you search. So you can do it to make use of that link to ask questions. Again, I want to say thank you so much. So this time around, we want to make it open to people. So you can just go ahead and share the link to as many people as you have around you, your friends that you think should be part of this. Maybe this will be the last time we'll ever do that, but yeah, let's give people a Christmas gift, an early Christmas gift in November. All right. So I want to say welcome everybody. Welcome. Yeah. Please go to the charts. Where are you reaching out to us from? You can even go to the Slido and just put it out there whether you're calling, you are in this gathering with us, maybe from Lagos, from Enugu, from Benin, from Port Harcourt, from the UK, from Canada, wherever you are. Just let us know. Let us know on YouTube. We're about to get started. And I'm excited about what this session would look like. All right, so let us know where you are joining us from. If you can join on YouTube, fantastic. Join on YouTube. I know people are joining us on Twitter. Some persons are joining us on Facebook. So wherever you're joining us from is completely fine. But ensure you you just are as responsive as possible. I want to encourage you to get a notepad, get a pen, and it's going to be a great ride. So just a moment, guys. We are about to get this started. We're about to get this started. All right. I can see the numbers going up. This is amazing. This is really, really good. I'm excited. I should be excited, yeah. I should be excited knowing that a good number of people are doing this with us. So, yeah. All right. I know you can see my faces now. Good evening again. Welcome here. Um, I'm excited. I'm excited. Like I said last month, Organiru's concept is basically to bring people, builders of tomorrow, together to discuss, to learn, and move to like the next phase of their life and their career. And the truth is, in our journey, there's always that part where you probably don't know what to do. Sometimes you think you're not confident enough. Sometimes you think um, maybe you're not just called out for this, right? And that's why a lot of people go ahead and take a 9 to 5 job that probably never gives them satisfaction. Until 5 years down the line, they realize, oh, I never really wanted to do this, right? But some people go a certain path and then realize, I decided to go this path because I was afraid to take some risks. I was afraid that if I followed what I really wanted to do, I wouldn't achieve my goal. All right. And so that's the reason why we have Oganiru bringing in people, young people like us, people between the age of 19, 20, 35, and young people who you could go online, check out their portfolio, and you're like, oh, okay, what's this guy doing that I am not doing? Or even if you are building, you just see this what these guys are doing, and you're encouraged to do better, to push hard. And for me, I know that there are a few persons here who are doing amazing stuff as well. I know a number of persons who are joining this call, my friends, and I know that they are doing crazy stuff out there. And for them, it's about I just need to learn from this guy. I just need to hear Gbenga talk, right? Gbenga and myself have a very interesting story. I'm going to start with that story, but I want to go ahead and read a bit about Gbenga's biography before we start. All right, so there's a cover to whatever I'm going to be reading here. So when we we're designing, I sent the a bio to the designer and I said, "This is Gbenga's bio." He said, "This thing is very long. Go cut it off." I reduced it. He said, "It's too long. It will not fit the design. Cut it off." I reduced it, and he said, "It will not fit the design. Cut it off." And then we ended up with, I think, 2 paragraphs, and that will never sum the story of Gbenga and all that Gbenga is about and the things that Gbenga has done, right? So Olugbenga Olubanjo is the founder and CEO of Ready. He's also the founder of Carry Africa. There's a lot of story around Carry Africa that I hope that you'll be on board during this time. Ready is a renewable energy company revolutionizing access to clean, reliable, and affordable electricity in energy poor regions. Through its proprietary technology, Ready delivers energy solutions to over 1,000 households and businesses monthly in Nigeria, creating opportunities for economic and social development. So, what I'm reading here, I copied it, but I know that they have exceeded that number a long time ago. A long time ago. The flagship product, of course, they have multiple products now, but the flagship product, which is Ready Capsule, has gained international awards. It has been named one of Times Magazine's best innovation of 2021 and one of Fast Company's world-changing ideas in 2023. Ready was recognized as one of the 5 finalists for Prince William's £1 million headshot prize, highlighting his role in promoting global sustainability. Oluk earned a bachelor's degree in engineering from the University of Ibadan and a master's degree in engineering from the U of T, that's University of Toronto, where he was honored with the John Wesley J. All Awards for Excellence in Entrepreneurship and the Social Innovation Award. Well, with a round of applause wherever you are, let's welcome here Gbenga. Gbenga, can you just show us your face? Welcome, Gbenga. Welcome, Gbenga. Gbenga,
Yes,
you're
welcome.
welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. And hi, everyone. And what's good? My regards to you wherever you are listening from or watching from.
Yes, yes. All right. So, Gbenga, just a moment. I want to At the moment, we have about 25 people watching across multiple platforms. And I know we're recording this as well. I know more people are joining. And so let's start this, right?
Mm.
Let me talk let me do a bit about my personal knowledge of Gbenga. I think I met Gbenga, was it 2016? Yeah, it was 2016 when Gbenga came to serve in Enugu. And it was amazing um, to have met him. Right, I remember when he came in with his bag, and Gbenga always had a pen and a notepad, always scribbling on a plain sheet every single time. And it caught my attention because we're in the same family house. Because I wasn't serving in Enugu, I had not gone for service yet, but I was staying in the family house, and I was to go to service, I think, a year afterwards. And I remember how that it caught my attention, and somehow I just knew I wanted to be friends with this guy. And time passed. A lot of things happened. Like, I don't want to talk about the background story around all of Gbenga's stuff. But one of the things that struck me about Gbenga was very thoughtful. Gbenga would always think about the process. Gbenga would always ask questions before taking actions. And that was like amazing for me. I remember when the MMM posing scheme, I don't know if you remember, Gbenga was trending.
Yeah, I remember.
And everybody in the family house put their money in. And I know I had a commercial Gbenga, and he had done his research. I had done my research and realized that it was like a filter, right? And we knew that we just had a conversation. Gbenga was telling me that it's a filter, it's a pyramid turned upside down. And so the more people put in stuff, the first set of people get the benefit. But over time, there's no more space for stuff to go through that filter, and then everything just gets stopped, and nobody's getting anything. Everybody's money is lost. And I remember in October, was it in October? And everything crashed because people were laughing at us like, you guys are stupid, you guys don't know what's going on, we are cashing out and all. And when it crashed, it was evident that we knew what we were doing. And I was glad I followed Gbenga at that particular time. And I think that like solidified our relationship. And of course, we left Nigeria, got a scholarship to study in the University of Toronto over there in Canada. And again, I remember Gbenga was building every single time. And I think you will talk about that part of the story where it's easy to think, oh, because I failed in this project, I'm a failure. Or rather, okay, this project isn't working, I can do something different. And that was one of the things that Gbenga did, right? I remember native, NATIVV. Of course, I think Gbenga got some cash from that. So Gbenga is the king of getting money, grants, anywhere, anytime. Gbenga got some money from, I think, to the Menu Foundation, and the idea didn't fly, but Gbenga never stopped building. Got to school while everybody was trying to get a first class or finish top notch. Gbenga, I think he also finished top notch from school and left U of T with a business ready. Technologies that become a global brand, well respected, recognized around. And I remember in 2018, Gbenga reached out to me. No, he was, I forgot 2018, we were talking about on the product building. 2019 and 2020, Gbenga reached out to me and said, Emeka, you want to work with me? I have something I'm doing, and I want to build Temple. But like, of course, okay, we just agreed on the name some few weeks before because we were just sharing ideas. Okay, what should be the name of this product? And then he said, Emeka, I'd like you to come and work on this project together. And of course, I did that for 2 years. I remember one time he called me, Emeka, we have to go sit on a panel for some USD for 10 pounds. And we had a very swell time. And of course, the funds came in. And of course, when I was leaving ready and I decided to resign, I know it was bad. And I'm going to apologize to Gbenga here officially, where everybody is. We didn't close on a very good note. I think I was inexperienced because I'd never worked in a corporate setting, and so some things I probably did and my way of living wasn't the best way I should have, and I jacked a lot of things. But Gbenga was just so good that even after I was a while, when I was like, should I chat this guy up? He was not chatting me up. Emeka, how you doing? And calls me, I want to check up on you. I know, and I think we are getting back together again. So yeah, Gbenga is that guy. Gbenga has done a lot. Um, Gbenga's part is remarkable, but I'm going to let Gbenga tell us a bit about his journey. Gbenga, I've said a few things, but I know there is so much more
Yeah,
to
I
say.
mean, again, thanks so much for inviting me to this. Really appreciate everyone again. Luca, thanks for being a nice friend. Yeah, we have a very long history of like ups and downs, and I think that's just about every relationship, everything in life. Yeah, I think Mika mentioned we met a while ago, like a long time ago, in almost I think almost 10 years now, roughly 7 to almost 8 years right now. 2016 in Enugu, and I mean we've gone through different phases of like life. I mean everybody's in the West right now, blah blah. So it's been very nice. So I build stuff. That's the summary of my life. I build stuff. I basically just build. I think that's probably what I know how to do best, and that's what I'm probably sent here to do. And I'm glad I recognized that early, and I just like stick to that. Um, in the process of building stuff, there's going to be a lot of failures, a lot of successes. I've had my fair share of a lot of that. I'm still failing. I'm still succeeding in different ways. It's part of the game.
Yeah,
And yeah, I run a company called Ready right now. Also, I've done a couple of things, sold a business in the past, raised some money, done a couple of things here and there. Again, I think the beauty of this is that the question is probably going to pull all the story out of me. It's hard for me to just tell the story on a whole because I have the different dimensions of like what I've done across different verticals. Yeah, but like I'll definitely I'm one of the young Nigerian entrepreneurs just trying to make the future in our own unique way. I mean, design our future because I believe that the future is made by people, not by like you don't fold your hands like, and expect change to happen. You have to like take charge and like make change happen. So that's kind of what influences how I think, and it's also what drives my building stuff. So every time I'm looking around for problems, and when I see the problem and I see that it's a problem that is worthwhile enough that could make significant change, I jump in it and I try to create a solution for it. Those solutions sometimes do, sometimes they don't work, and when they don't, actually, it's always a lesson. It's always a lot of lessons embedded in it. Some of the solutions requires also you like raising capital for them. Some of them requires you like understanding who's going to be your market, where the market is going to be. Sometimes it takes like 2 years to build some. Some are easy to build. The beauty of building is just like going to the gym. The more you gym, the more you enjoy. The more you are able to like quickly build muscles. So the more you build, the more you know how to build. Actually, it's and the more you get addicted to, the more you get like you understand the risk, and the risk doesn't come to you like an outsider looking at it. So for me, the last time I got a job that pays me was in 20 when I left school in 2015. That was the last time I did some internship then, and that was the last time I got a job. Ever since then, I've been purely so over 10 years right now. I've never earned salary. I don't even know what salary looks like, so, which is crazy. But like basically, it also makes you like very vulnerable because you are basically like on this journey that you don't know what's like the next year is gonna be, but you just have to like very creative. You have to be able to like make a lot of sacrifices, delay gratification, think about stuff, build strong relationships because those matters a lot. Know how to like do just know how to make people happy so that they can because at the end of the day, this thing requires a lot of like just bringing people together. You can't build alone, by the way. So you can't build alone because sometimes someone like me, I build stuff across different industries that I have no idea about. Like I don't have the depth understanding of that industry. So I have to like get people around that understand the industry and they have to be committed to help. So yeah, it's been a very interesting ride. Just a summary of that. I think when we go into the very specific question, I'll probably be able to answer very specific questions. But like yeah, my name is Olu again. My name is Olugbenga Olubanjo. You can call me Olu for short. I build stuff. That's what I do, and I basically my goal is I mean my LinkedIn, what I say there that kind of summarize what I do is that I try to mine value out of uncertainties. So I walk into an uncertain situation, a problem or something, and I mind value out of it. So I'm always around uncertainty. So you probably see me around different problems, trying to solve it. I love the fact that when there's a problem, I want to go in there, put some structure to it, and mine some value out of it. So create value for the investors, create value for myself, and also create value for the people I'm solving. What's it called? I'm solving this solution for.
Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. You know, the beauty about talking to Gbenga is that just give him the mic and he would spill everything out, and that's really like very remarkable. And I think I would just go down to the cross because there are like a number of persons on this call, a number of people who see this video, a number of people who watch this in 2, 3, 4, 5 years time, and they'll be inspired by it. So there is this point where so a number of persons who probably do 9 to 5 now didn't probably wanted to go that route, right? They wanted to build something. Maybe they tried, they failed, it didn't work, they thought it was going to work,
Mm,
and they just needed security. Why did you not stop? Why? Because the question is, was it always rosy from the beginning? I don't think it's left for you to answer, but why did you not stop? Why? What do you have to say to people like that who probably had built stuff and now because of their experiences, because of the failures they have experienced, they are wondering, should I not just get a secure job, keep myself together,
mm,
get enough to feed the family, start up a family, feed the family, and just live life, right? What do you
mm.
have to say in that situation?
Yeah, so my thank you for that question, Mika. So my belief in life is that there's no security. There's nothing called secure job, right? There's not even there's a country that's what you can say you have a secure country. And to be gracious to I don't want to get into like geopolitics right now. I'll have mentioned like we have countries that are war torn today. Probably a couple of years ago, the people living in some of those countries think that they probably have a secure job, right? So the country is no more even secure itself, where it's war on. So the bank is gone, almost everything gone. They are living on aid. So I believe I have this. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's kind of radical because I'm an entrepreneur. I have this aggressive to believe that there's nothing called security is what you create for yourself. It's not what the system creates for you. So at the end of the day, there's nothing called there's. I don't believe in something called security. That there's something called job security. Yeah, remember the companies where everybody goes to say they have a secure job are companies that were also like built by people that put their blood on the ground to make sure that the structure continues to exist and people continue to now mine value from those structures. So technically, I just believe that security you want is actually something that you create for yourself. So and there's nothing bad in people doing 9 to 5 as well. I think 9 to 5 is. I mean, I have a bunch of staff with me, extremely smart people. That do. I also do 9 to 5 myself, by the way. So there's nothing bad in doing 9 to 5. By the way, being an entrepreneur is actually more crazy than doing 9 to 5 because you're actually working like maybe like 80, 90 hours a week, which is crazy. I still work today. There are people that I know that probably don't work today, but yesterday by 6 o'clock they are done working and they are not opening any stuff. I work for me. I work every time I need to work. There's nothing like 9 to 5. So there's a value there depending on how you are built. I think what I've learned in life is that it's very important for you to know what your mission is. And Yeah, there's a spiritual side to it. Once you understand your mission, you just focus on it, and whatever you're doing doesn't feel like work. So someone like me, building doesn't feel like work. It just feel like basically just what's it called living. I'm basically just living, like I'm giving myself, because at the end of the day, I mean, we are in this world to give ourselves. So you give as much as you can give of yourself to the world. That's actually why you are in this world. So that's how I see it. So when I'm doing stuff, I don't think about it from the lens of like work or 9 to 5 or something. I just see it from the lens of value. So basically, if you're a 9 to 5 guy and that's your own mission, or you are working in a very strategic what's it called organization where that is a key part of like what you're doing. I mean, it don't need to be. There's nothing. I mean, it's not like you don't have a better an entrepreneur doesn't have a better whatever than you, except you are called to be an entrepreneur and you are doing 9 to 5. That's the difference. That's when you feel maybe you feel bad and you feel like you're not living in purpose. But you have to know that which purpose of whatever you're living at. Like you can be a creator, right? You can be you can be a singer, you can be a footballer. These are not 9 to 5 work. There are some people that are doing pure corporates, they are very good at it. Just understand what you are called to do, because that's actually the first, like when you understand what you are called to do, every other thing just becomes easy. For me, when I'm working, I don't feel like I'm working. I just feel like I'm trying to create solutions. I love it. I think about it like all we're going to be doing some very massive project next year. I'm already like kind of daydreaming about it, how it's going to work, what's going to work, who are going to help, where am I going to get resources, all this kind of stuff. It just, for me, it doesn't feel like work. And that's because I'm obsessed with it, and more importantly, it's what I'm called to do. So it came very, very easy. And everybody else also, I mean, even the Bible says that we have all these inside gifts, and in the gifts, our gifts make way for us. It brings us before kings. So again, those we have those inside gifts that we have in you, and understand, like going to it and get and understanding it and showing it to the world, like making sure you are able to like glorify God with it and bring for the value you have to the world is how you get like rewarded. And that gift can be in different ways. It doesn't have to be entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is just one piece of like the pie. There's multiple gifts from everybody that people can offer. For me, myself, my own is creating value, and I can create the value through entrepreneurship. But some people's own are like different. Some people are in finance. Everybody has their own unique calling. So there's nothing like, again, remember, let me go back. There's nothing like secure job, as long as long as you have to be living in purpose, and you have to know that, oh, you're actually creating the security that you want for yourself. At the end of the day, also, entrepreneurship is not the only best, it's not the best way. If you have to be called to do it, and that when you're called to it is when your life start becoming, it doesn't become like a burden for you. So for me, because I work like 80 to 90 hours a week, I don't feel stressed or whatever. Some people can't even do it because they feel very stressed, and it's because they are not that's not their strong point. Some people sing a lot and they love it. I don't sing. So again, everybody with their own unique whatever gift that God has given to you, just like develop it, honestly read about it. um so yeah, so I think, but I don't know if I answered that question. There's no security, and at the end of the day, just go reach into yourself, look at what you are called to do here, find your purpose, and actually double down your purpose. That purpose can become like a big stuff. Like it can be in music, it can be in creative, it can be doing comedy. You can be surprised how the gift of a man, as long as you're able to like look inward, could change the narrative and could add value to, as long as you're adding value to people's lives, you'd be surprised how the world you bountifully with what's it called, with resources to continue to like add value.
All right, amazing, amazing stuff, Gbenga. Amazing. Think about what you have said, and I think really it boils down to purpose. And for us, we think that Oganiru is designed for builders, people who are called to build. And building doesn't necessarily mean you are an entrepreneur. It could mean you're a social entrepreneur. You're building. You could even be doing something that's just for
Yeah.
non-profit, right?
Yeah.
And all of that. And then I want to ask, but then I also want to tell people, please, you can ask your questions on Slido. I believe you have the links. If you don't, if you're on YouTube, you'll see the link there. So do where to get it up and put your questions out there. Gbenga, sometimes people say it's hard to build, and I think I don't know if you agree with that. That it's hard to build.
Yeah.
There are times when you are trying to do something and it doesn't work. Yeah, I know. For instance, your story you did native. I'm not sure a single cloth was sewn for native, right?
Yeah.
But you invested your time there. You didn't stop. I know of Temple, right? We may not say much about Temple, but I know Temple is a beautiful product. I know the amount of efforts that was put into that particular product, the sacrifice, the blood that went to the ground, like you said. I need you to talk about that for people, because it's easy for people to give up. It's easy for people to think, okay, I'm not cut out for this, right? So in the case where I fail again, what should I do? Should I keep failing, or is it that I will just, is there something I need to, maybe I have to do something different to succeed, or what is it? I want you to talk about that as much as you can talk about it.
Yeah, thanks so much, Emeka, for that question. And it's a very, like I said in the beginning, right? Um, like, I mean, all these things come with a price, right? The best, everybody's an amateur in one way or the other. The best footballer never became a football. I mean, we see Ronaldo or Messi or whoever is the best footballer right now. they were not born to just become playing football. They practice and practice and practice. They failed before they become. Nothing great comes easy. And there's always that sacrifice. You have to pay your price for whatever looks easy that everybody's doing. Even the best of soldiers, even the military, the guys that the smartest shooter doesn't just wake up and become a shooter. It takes a lot of like failure before you get it right. Understanding that, you should know that at the end of the day, the failures are actually just they are stepping stones. So they are not stopping block, they are stepping stones. So basically, there's something called failing forward, where as much as you fail, you learn models on how to not do it. Like I think there's one of these the inventor of the light bulb that will say you have to do that like probably over 100 times, 1,000 times or something before you got it right. But there's a lot of things that you don't know. This world is designed, this world is controlled by multiple verticals and variables that you can't even understand. You can't, if you try to understand all the variables, you won't actually do anything. So as builders, you actually go in with the understanding that you have, and you try to be as adaptable as possible. In the rest of being adaptable, you learn some failures, you try by an error, you do some things that is not going to work. Like Emeka said, for me, I fail every year. I have this year is ending. Just thinking about it, we tried a couple of products in this year that failed as well. We had some successes as well. The question that the success always like just bury the failure immediately. But again, if you are not failing, you are not even trying anything new. Especially if you are working in something that is very, very different. For me, we try to build like a lot of pioneer products. So by default, we kind of factor in failure. If you are not failing enough, that means you are not even doing enough. But again, when you fail, you don't just fail naively. You have to make sure you are learning from those failures. So for me, it's always like failing forward, where every single time you fail, there's something you are learning. So you learn ways to not get it done. For example, Emeka was talking about native. When we were trying to do that as well, there were a couple of things. We got the team wrong. We got a couple of things wrong. We got even the idea was not like. I mean, then I was still very naive about how building this would be. Even though I mean, I got some funding for it, but again, with software building then we got a lot of like there was a lot of things that we got wrong, and that automatically was for me the failure was not, it wasn't a complete failure, it was a failure for the product side. When you're looking at you promised to build this product, you didn't build it, or you promised to build this product, you didn't get it done. And we built some software there, but the software didn't just scale. Was just like, I mean, the team, there were just a lot of things that I was learning as well at that time. I just finished from UI. But what the wins there was that I learned how to recruit a team, what to look for in a team, what exactly I need to do. So I took those failures I had in native to understand what I would not do when I was being ready. So again, like these things are like those experiences become like it becomes like your kind of like your scars that it kind of reminds you of like what you should not do. And sincerely, success can be success sometimes get into people's head, and you don't, but you learn a lot from failures because you're able to like introspect. Failure humbles everyone, and it forces you to like think through what could have worked if you did this and this and what obviously will not work. So again, for me, failure is a big part of everything. The guys, the best singers today are not. They were not. Probably the first record they sang was like a whack, and they didn't even get a couple of things. And the world doesn't celebrate you when you are still trying to get your pieces together. Just like a small baby as well, right? When we are babies, their walking was like a big deal. But right now, everybody just wake up and walk, wake up and talk, wake up and write. Remember when we were babies, we're just trying to figure out, okay, put a step forward, you write, you walk on 2 steps, you feel like you are doing a lot. But like right now, you just walk, you just walk without even thinking about it, and you talk without thinking about it. You speak without thinking about it. You write without thinking about it. I mean, all these things becomes part and parcel of it because of the failures you have to accomplish in the process of trying to walk as a baby, maybe a 1-year-old or something. So again, failures are those they are what happen at the earlier stage of every single thing. And as you continue to try something new, there's going to be that stage. I mean, what my dad told me when I was, and one of the reasons why I went into entrepreneurship very early was that my dad was an entrepreneur as well, but he went to entrepreneur very late. It was around like towards his I think mid-40s, late 40s. And he told me that the best time to go into this thing is like early, because at the end of the day, whether you go into it now or you go into it in 40 years, if you didn't learn what you have to learn right now, you're still going to learn it in that 40 years. It's going to be waiting for you to learn. Either you learn it from people or you learn it from books. There are just some things that you can't just keep. Like you have to pay your price. It's just the way everything works. Like you have to pay your price. The biggest churches today are not churches that just became. They started from like very tiny place and they continue to learn and learn and learn organization. You learn a lot of things. And it's one of the things that personally I love about entrepreneurship because I look at it like a school. I'm constantly learning about new things, constantly learning about failing on new things. I mean, try a business out, it doesn't work. Constantly learning about my own biases, constantly getting better at like psychology, human psychology, and co. And just it's just like it's a learning engine. And that's what I personally one thing I love about entrepreneurship is just the learning side of it. So, like I said, failure is a big part of these things. Not everything you try is going to work. And not working doesn't mean you didn't put your best. It just means that there's some things that you need to learn, and it's fine. So that's why when you are doing it, you have to be calculative. Don't put in all your resources if you observe that you have like just be calculative. But you know that at the end of the day, failure is part of the process. What I did when I was starting out that gives me some kind of like introspection when I failed is that I read a lot of biographies. I read a lot of biographies of people that built, and I observed that if you read their biographies, it's laced with massive failures. So when I was failing, I was not bitter by failing. Failure was a signal that I'm actually on the right path for me. It was a signal that you're actually on the right path because biography just humbles you that everybody starts from somewhere and they continue to evolve. Like for us right now, where I am today as an entrepreneur was not where I am. And when I myself and Emeka was in what's it called in Enugu, things have evolved massively. But this evolution was a const was due to constant failure, constant learning, picking up yourself, getting motivated, and just continue trying. Like I said, the only person that don't fail are the people that are not doing anything. Everybody that does something new everywhere in the world fail one way or the other, and they are still failing right now. Yeah.
Like Gbenga, thank you so much. Everybody is doing who has done something great. They are failed, and if they are attempting to do something greater than what they have done, they are probably failing at the moment. So, and that's really like remarkable stuff. And I think there was something you said that really like caught my attention was the idea of the need to learn, right? We talked about reading biographies and all of that, and obviously I'm aware of some of this stuff, how much you read, how much you pay attention to that. I remember. Well, let me not speak so much, but yeah, I would say this part where I know you have. I don't know if you use Audible, but I know there's that part where Gbenga can listen to an entire book while going for a walk and stuff like that. And I want you to talk about a bit around reading, a bit about learning. Of course, you talk a bit about it, how it's accepted, but I want you to like focus it for the people who are here, right? Some people want to build the next big social venture, right? And um, it's very possible that they have no clue what the social venture is about, except for the definition, right? Or that they know one or two persons that are doing stuff like that, and they want to be the next. Maybe they want to be the next global Timmy. They want to be the next Tunde, or whatever it is, or the next Gbenga, right? Um, how important is learning about whatever you want to build, right? How important is it in building well?
Yeah, thanks so much, Emeka. So for me, learning is like food. Like there's no day that I'm probably not hearing something new. Like today I think I've done like 4 podcasts today, listening to 4 podcasts today, done a bunch of articles. I get them in my email right now. I'm always learning every time. Learning is a I mean, I was at the conference, 2 conferences last two conferences this past Thursday and Friday, and all I just went there was sit down, listen, and just get some stuff in and apply it to see how that applies to where I'm going to, or whatever we're trying to build. I think learning is a critical part of everything, and learning not. I mean, I know there's a lot of ceremonial learning. I'm sorry, I have to let me be blunt here because um some people that are learning don't even know they do a lot of ceremonial learning. Like, don't read what you're not interested in. Like, if you're not interested in, so someone like me right now, I read purely stuff around like business, life, I'm a tech guy, so I want to know about what is going on in technology. So I just focus on that because it's something that inspires me and something that I love. I love to hear about people, hear about market. I can read about business model. I love it. Emeka may not love that. So because I'm reading business model doesn't mean you have to read business model. Happened is that a lot of people want to just they said somebody recommend this book, just go. No. Read something. If you are a guy that you want to be a, as your calling is a pastor, you need to read some very deep spiritual books and co. Please double down on that. If you are like me and you are into entrepreneurship, you want to learn about like life and a couple of things, some principles here and there, go explore it. If you are a doctor and you want to learn about some new, just like stick to what intrigues you, but continue to learn. I mean, for me, I think the beauty of what I like, a lot I love about like entrepreneurship, like I said, it's a learning engine. So it forces you to be very, very curious. So I'm going into like new industries, observing patterns, learning patterns, making mistakes, learning from mistakes, evolving. I mean, I'm at this point where things I do are sometimes high stakes. So I mean, if I don't learn very well, the result is going to even come out with the result. So like learning is a critical part of like every single thing I personally do. And for anybody that's going to build anything worthwhile, you are going to have to learn and like have a deeper, like the more you learn, like they said, leaders are readers, right? You have to read voraciously. You have to, and sometimes it's not just about reading alone. It might be podcasting, it might be listening to stuff. Everybody just have like their own unique way of like don't stress yourself. Make sure whatever you're learning or whatever you're doing is fun. I don't read, like, for example, some people like that, right? They love to read like all these prose where they read about some stories about some people that imagine. I don't love those kind of stuff. I personally focus on like real life. Like if I'm not, even when I even watch movies, if a movie is not about like a real life stuff, like a real somebody's biography, I prefer it to like just some prose story or some random story. I mean, that's my own interest because of where I'm coming from. Some people that probably want to be a writer, they have to read some very interesting Shakespeare stuff and enjoy it. Again, everybody with their own unique interest. So make sure like you let your interest be what drives you to learn. Don't say because everybody's reading John Maxwell, I'm gonna read John Maxwell or something. No, it's gonna be frustrating. Yeah, you want to make sure like whatever you are reading is fun, is enjoyable. You are I mean, for me, I go for recommendation as well. I mean, I go to like when people recommend stuff, I try to read and co. But like everything I'm reading, I want to make sure it's like aligns with like my deeper purpose. So again, it makes the whole reading worthwhile. And what I would say is also create an attitude of reading. So for me, right, I can make I said I do at the point when I couldn't be carrying physical books, I was carrying too much physical books. I just switched to like audibles. So right now I do like audibles for majority of my stuff, but I also do a lot of podcasts, a lot of Spotify, a lot of YouTubing, a lot of and I mean probably because for me I have to learn on the fly, and I'm not the guy that really believe in all this connection like formal structure of learning. I just believe like you can get information from anywhere, and sometimes you just need like just a piece of information from everything and put it together. Something I should mention is that there's nothing new under the sun. Actually, that statement is right. What happened is that you can actually piece a lot of like information from like multiple places and put it together, and it makes whatever you are doing become new. For example, if you're writing a book, right, every word you are going to use for that book is probably in the dictionary. So you bring up the words together, you put it together, then you make a book. Or even when you're bringing the technology, you take this, you take that, you take this, you put it together, you become like something worthwhile. Everything is somewhere. The question is that you have to be able to find it, bring it into yourself, and make sense out of it. Like it's reading is a very, I mean, being an innovator and being an entrepreneur, because for me, I build and think about solutions every time. Reading is a very critical part of every single thing I do. I need to know about what's going on, who is doing what. Like I was listening to like the tax policy in Nigeria. Yes, like yesterday, I was like, oh, this is going to change. I need to understand what exactly tax policy. What's my exposure? What do I have to do? What do I have to not do? And you'll be surprised that even so for me, because of my kind of work elsewhere, I have like professionals like lawyers and accountants and co. But I question a lot of things, and I question a lot of things because of I read a lot, so I'm able to I'm able to engage you creatively. So because you are a doctor doesn't mean I don't know. I know enough to like ask critical questions that could get some insight from you. So like I just love to learn. I just love to learn. I just like people ask me what I do for fun. I tell them I learn for fun, and some people don't understand what that means. But the question is that for me personally, I just love to learn, man. I learn everything and anything, and I always just keep them in my knowledge bank because I observe that the human mind has massive capacity if you're able to like put in a lot. And remember, when you are building anything, building comes from within. So there must be something inside you that influences how you think and what you express out. You can't think about something that you don't know, that is not being inside you. You can't. Like majority of the time, you're accessing information that are deep down inside you based on what you've taken in, either through lectures, through videos, through whatever. And that's why what you consume, the pictures you consume, the information you consume, have a very, very big impact on your life. There was a time in my life when I was always getting a little bit like panicking about, like, I'm always scared of like what the future holds and whatever. And I took a little bit of deep down about what's going on in my life. I'm like, oh, it probably because I was listening to news. Because there was so much news, there was so much negativity. I was taking those negativity in, and it was not influencing how I analyze life. I have to switch entirely and shut down all news. I basically just had to like put not interested on YouTube, so that I don't see any news whatever. I mean, I still follow news, but I don't want news that just negative, because automatically when you start feeding all those kind, it start influencing the output that you give, and it starts giving you a very pessimistic way of life. As a builder, if you are building anything, you have to be like a radical optimist. You have to be radically excited and be optimistic, because Oga you can said, joy is a fetcher. Like these things, like being happy, there's a state of mind that you have to be, that it fetches every single thing you need, and it fetches it from the inner side of you. Um, so, like I said, reading is a very big part. Reading deposits into you, so that when you are building or when you are doing anything, you're able to reach into that your inner side, and it brings them out of. Even when you are talking, when you're analyzing problems, some people who have like a very unique way of like looking at problems. It's because they've taken a lot of things in. Like for me right now, I train myself to be very. I ask a lot of questions. That one is what I know how to do well. I can question. Like if you don't really know what you are doing, if I can ask you a question that you start feeling that you are the one that doesn't know, and I'm the one that knows, and I'm just basically just asking to learn. But if I ask you a lot of questions, I learn a lot, and I just add that a lot um that I can use it for like maybe for some other things. So I'm always questioning things. Oh, why are you doing this? Why is this not happening? Who should be doing this? Who should not be doing this? And in that question I get some unique insight. Like I said, I love to learn a lot. So but to be able to ask the right question also, you must have like a deposit of like knowledge inside you. So reading is a critical part of like building. I've never seen anybody that built anything from social ventures to government stuff to entrepreneurship to the creative industry. I don't see anyone that's not been a voracious learner. You have to be, if you really want to build anything that was worthwhile.
Gbenga, thank you so much. This is like remarkable stuff, right? And I knew that just asking that question would unleash some very deep stuff for me, and that was really very good. I have my pen here, I'm writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing stuff, Gbenga. And Gbenga, I know people are itching to hear about how you respond.
Oh.
But then I think that because I know a bit, right? I want to take it from a very different point of view. So it's not just about building, it's about providing value, right? I remember when I wanted to start Oganiru. So funny enough, I've had this idea for maybe a year plus, and I never like pushed it. And I decided I was going to do it, right? I was going to push it. I was going to get the best guys I know and the best guys I know that I yet do not know on this platform to share stuff to people. And for me, it's about what would people get after this, right? So when I'm asking the question, is because I want to get value out. And so there's something I think may be an issue for a lot of people. People want to raise funds. People want to build big stuff. People want to be big. People want to be seen out there. Winga, let's talk about providing value, right? Because I'm sure nobody gave you money because they just, oh, I like this guy. Because he's doing something, let's give him money, right? I think it's beyond that because you're not the only one building. So a funny story will be that I remember when the very first Ready capsule came out, and we were pretty excited. I remember how the designs came up, the modeling, the first time that somebody in Abuja was supposed to do something, and by the time the guy brought out this stuff, we just realized that we had wasted millions of naira on that particular project, and we the idea was to go to China and build. And after I think a year, we started seeing replicas of what we built from China, what we designed from scratch. People were putting their names on it and all of that. But I don't think those guys have won the kind of awards you have won. I don't think those guys have accessed the kind of grant you have accessed, right? And a lot of them are folded, right? Gbenga, how important is value creation when it comes to building stuff?
I mean, I think like if you are going to build stuff, I mean, like yeah. Let me go back a little. So value creation is actually building is value creation. Value creation is building. They are not mutually exclusive. I don't know how to say it. Like they are like like you are when you are building something, your long term goal is probably to create value or to add value one way or the other. If you are not adding value, then you are just probably just it's not even a good way of like spending life because time is life. So spend your time to actually create value and add some things. So so value creation is a critical one. And Emeka was saying in the end that we're like if you don't provide value, nobody cares about you. But when you provide value, even if nobody see you and you believe in yourself with time, people will start to understand the fact that you are uniquely providing the value that nobody is able to provide. And you have to just be focused on like what exactly you are doing. So for us, like Emeka mentioned, with the Ready Capsule story, it was a very ugly story. There's a lot of ups and downs when we're building. Then sometimes we have like limited resources, and something that you mentioned is that if so for me, thank God for grace, a lot of things have happened. But if I see someone today that tells me that the reason why they are not building is because they don't have resources, that's a big lie. It's also two things it tells you about the person, right? It tells you that the person is they are telling lies to themselves. And I'm saying this in a very gracious way because there's something about the human being that you need to sometimes be able to tell yourself the hard truth. I've been in entrepreneurship for me. I'm very radical to myself to tell myself, Olu, you are biased in this place. This is the truth. So don't get panicky and try to be just tell yourself the truth, guy. You failed. Or you this didn't work. Don't try to just embrace it and say, okay, it's gonna work, it's gonna work. No, you failed, okay? We failed, let's move on. It's very important to be like to tell yourself the truth. I mean, there was time I was even praying that God just open my eyes to see the truth because some things are not exactly the truth. And once you understand, once your delta is the truth, a couple of things it influences a lot of things. So when you are building stuff, what you need is not necessarily like financial. Yes, you need resources, but those resources can be people. When we started ready with people, with human capital. I met the makers. I met a couple of people. I used my brother, Abib, a couple of friends, Dipo, Lamde. I mean, I saw them from Dari. I saw them from different, like my relationships. Those were enough resources for me to start whatever I want to do. Before we got a penny, those were the resources that we tapped into. Right? I tapped into resources of U of T. I was a student then, tapped into a couple of resources. Like, there are always resources around you. Like, start from where you are. When people see that you've done well with what you have, then they cannot bless you with something. But when you think that you have to wait for people to come and give you resources, so you are not taking any risk for yourself, you are not doing anything. You want people to just come and bless you. It's always those kind of people live in a kind of like pity. They are always, people with that kind of mindset are always not super responsible. And building requires you to be very, very responsible. I'm sorry if that sounds funny, but like sincerely, it's the truth because we have to call a spade here, right? You have to, if you really want to do stuff, you have to be able to put yourself on the line. And why should I give you my money if you don't trust yourself taking your own money to build what you are building? Why should I now invest and give you money? That's the question that an investor will ask on average. Like, why would I give you a penny? And I'm talking about investors from social investors which come to grants to like even VCs and for me, we've raised money from different kind of investors. And when you're looking at it like, why should I give? And remember, when people give you money, they are trusting you with that resources, that you are responsible enough to bring some kind of value out of that resources. It's not free money. They're not dashing you. So there's an expectation and a responsibility that comes with funding. And that means that you're able to like use that to create enough value that they can see and they can feel and they can measure. So if you are not even able to create things from the beginning, from the little things you have with you, then maybe you can't build, you can't, or maybe it's not meant for you. Again, funding matters, resources matters, but like you have to start from what you have. Like look around the people, the whatever, just do something what you have. In the process of doing something, things continue to open up. Like I mean, the Bible says it that if you are not being trusted with little, why should you be trusted with much? If you can't do little, if you can't achieve anything with the little you have, if you can't manage a cup of water, then you shouldn't say you can manage a bucket. And if you can't manage a bucket of water, you can't manage a drum of water. Like it's just impossible because trust me, the skill that you need in managing a cup, you'll be surprised that you need to take some of those skills to manage a drum. And if you can't manage a drum at a cup at a sustainable level, then if you get the drum, and that's why even some people today, some people say, I need $100 million. I mean $1 million. I'm like, if they give you the money, you won't know what to do with it. Because you probably start buying, like the money will actually destroy you, not the other. That's even the word. The money will destroy the person because they don't even know how to allocate the funds. They don't know what they need to do. They will, someone and I will come and say they want to do MMM. They will give them money. They will just be so, they don't know like, and our God is so faithful. Especially if you're a child of God, you would sometimes God will know. God will take you through only things that you have the capacity to manage per time. Even me, there was a time I'm always praying, God, we need more funding. We need more funding. It was later I looked back that we've not created the structure to even be able to absorb this funding, and we don't even know how to manage the funding. For example, Mega was telling about like some of the failures we had on getting started already. We gave some guys like a couple of millions to help us do some prototype. The guy did it wrongly. Imagine if I had spent $1 million doing that. What would have happened? It would have been a massive failure. But at least it was a 1 million, $2 million failure that we could contain. So again, you have to just go with what you have, and in the process, things continue to add. What I've learned in life is that success begets success. Once you are able to do something, people get to see you, and it automatically opens new doors, new insights, new relationships. It continues. It just keeps getting better, 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 better. Like for us right now, when we started with one product. Right now, we have 4 products. We have like 4 software. There's a lot of things that are evolving in multiple ways. We didn't start with that. We started with what we have. We continue to evolve day by day, day by day. Like we have way more stuff than we have before. We have way more stuff we have, but right now we have a big office. Right now we have this, we have that. It's something that evolved out of like our process, and you just have to trust the process. Like these things just take time, and you have to understand that it takes time. And when it comes to even raising money as well, because raising money comes from you just having the right information and being able to put yourself in places where you can learn and you can grow. But that nobody will also give you anything until they've seen that you've been able to create something of value. So just create something of value with the least you have. If you want to be a tailor and you don't have money to buy a machine, maybe you go and rent the machine from somewhere. There's no excuse. And I'm saying excuse is cheap. If you look for it, you will find it. I know friends that when we were in UI then, when we were doing like what's it called? We're doing like all this card because like this civil engineering. So some people you have to buy a laptop to know how to design CAD softwares and co. But I have friends that never had a laptop and they were learning from people and they knew how to design stuff from even the people that have laptops don't even know how to do because they are hungry, they are thirsty for it, and they go for it. But why you have some people that have laptops that they have all the laptops in the world, they have all the resources, but they don't use it the same way you have. I'm very sure some of you when you're growing up, you have those kids that always have the best of textbooks, but they're always the biggest failures in class. Because they have the best of textbooks doesn't mean they're going to read the textbook. The textbooks are always fine because they don't read it. While you see kids that probably don't have textbooks, they get the best. They are probably the top in the class. Again, you just have to be like radical yourself, and that's how the value come in. Add value, and every other thing continue to come into play. And more importantly, use what you have to start. There's nothing like you are looking for resources. Scrap that nonsense. Do what you have with what you have. If it's 1 naira, start with 1 naira, and let God. Like the Bible says, God will bless the works of your hand. So do something to be blessed. Not don't sit down and say, I'm praying. That doesn't work that way. Nothing works that way.
Gbenga, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Gbenga took us to church. We should
Sorry,
probably come preach on Sunday tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think you really like it's the point, and I'm just reminiscing, and I'm glad that I started this podcast. It's not a podcast anyway. These conversations with people I have like knowledge of, because it allows me to like really like think about the process, and I'm learning a lot from all these conversations. When you were talking about the four softwares that you viewed, the four products that you have already, and all those many other stuff that you were mentioning, I remember the first video website.
I did it
And
myself.
I remember you built it from scratch.
Yeah.
It was there. You don't build websites anymore, but you used whatever you had at that time to just build it. Right, you build it yourself. You know, and I remember Gbenga saying one time that this website gave us money. We got funds because we had it. People did not say, oh, the UX was not good enough. They saw what they were looking for. They came to see what this company was about. Does this company have a digital footprint? What is this company about? They could read it on the website, and they pursued with the vision, and then gave the funds that was needed, and really remarkable stuff. And I'm saying to everybody here, you can do stuff yourself, right? You can do stuff yourself. And I'll just share a funny experience, right? And so the person who helped me set up StreamYard the last time mentioned to me that we're discussing. And I was like, I've not been. There's a place I normally go to on Saturdays, and I've not been there for the past two Saturdays, and I'd like to attend. I was like, okay, oh yeah, let's do video call. I will set it up, and I actually did set it up myself. It didn't take me a lot. It's something anybody can do. But I know the next time, if I need it and somebody's not available, I won't have to call. I won't be stressed like I was today. Oh, okay, guy, how do we do this and all of that? I can set it up myself and all of that because I am willing to put in the work to ensure that this thing works and all, And I think that's remarkable. Gbenga, there are people here who are doing good stuff, right? I don't know if my friend is here, Nina. I remember Nina had a very funny challenge. I don't know if she wants me to talk about it. But Nina was pushing for something and there was a barrier. I know she's going to skate through it and 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 really like scale. So there are people who are doing good stuff. They are putting their work regardless. But now they want to scale, right? They want to build, they want to expand, right? And their question is, I probably don't know how to raise fund. I don't know what platform to go to and all of that. Gbenga, you are a pro in this. Gbenga has a very long history. From university days, Gbenga knows this stuff. So Gbenga, I want you to, let's assume there are people here who just want to learn the ropes, you know, maybe it's $1,000 in it, maybe it's just 5,000 or $10,000. You have done that maybe 10 years ago, right? And now you are doing bigger stuff. How can I get to that point? And that's what that person is asking. Now, what do I need to do? Are there platforms I need to go to? Is it that every time you apply for a grant, the money just came, and all of that? Were there failure points? Were there times you thought this one was not working and all of that? I want you to, like, from your heart, talk to these folks
Yeah.
on how they can access funds, where they should go to, what they should look out for, and stuff like that. Over to you.
Yeah, so thanks so much, Emeka. The challenge about that question is that, sincerely, the answers have been in what we're talking about. It's a function of, like, number one, you ask yourself the question, what game are you playing? What are you doing? If you are in the social venture space, like for me, one of my ventures have like some social impact, wherever. So we get some social capital and we also get like VC capital as well. So you have to know what exactly is like, what are the skill sets that you need to learn and what you need to do. Let me give you an example. So after I got the Tony Elumelu money then, and unfortunately the business I would tried it on did not work. Although I wrote the application myself, I wrote it then when I was in, I think it was in Enugu then, right? Is it Enugu during NYC? Was that when I wrote the application? I can't remember actually. I got the result when I was in Enugu. But I knew my writing was not stellar. My writing was okay. I mean, I had the first class, so I did very well in school. But like I have to like I said, tell yourself the truth. Don't be blurred by your own successes. Don't let success. Don't let because I got this award, then that means I'm good. Okay, you yourself know that you are not good. So tell yourself the truth and don't let people's success or the noise that everybody's saying get into your head. Just know what you are doing and where exactly you are going to. Like that's very know your North Star. So for me, I told myself, Olu, yes, you got this grant. I think it was 1.5 million naira then. but Oga, your writing is whack. Your writing is so whack. So I told myself when I got to U of T, I took all the writing classes, all. I'm talking about from Faculty of Arts to Faculty of Science to Faculty of Engineering. I took all the writing classes. I actually went to that school to do engineering, but I did all, like I had more writing classes than engineering classes. And the goal is I knew that writing is a critical bit of me. I knew that I didn't get that when I was in UI because I was in engineering. Well, I was very analytically good. My analytics was good. But I observed that at the end of the day, even if you have the best ideas and you don't know how to clearly communicate it, both in writing, in speaking, and visually, you're not going anywhere. It's not a course. So you see people with a lot of ideas, but they are just stuck somewhere because you've not built capacity to communicate the idea. And these are something that you need to, like, it's part of what you need to build. Okay, you know that, okay, you have this gift. I have the gift of like singing right now. I need to find a way to start toning my voice, maybe what I should eat, what I should not eat, what I should do, what I should not do. You have to train it. So you know this thing that you need to develop. So I developed no capacity in my idea. Oh my god, I developed all this capacity. I remember there was time at my first pitch outside Toronto. I had to go to the US for a pitch of stuff then, and I was going to speak to a lot of white people. And one of my mentor of mine who loved me well told me that, Olu, you have very deep accents and you have very African accent. People will not hear you. So when I talk to people in Toronto, then I have to tell them like all over again to understand what I was saying. I was like, Olu, how do I break this barrier? How do I solve this problem? Number one, I can't change my voice by night because I'm African. I'm Nigerian. I've been Nigerian for my life, so nothing's gonna. I can't do any surgery to go and change my voice. I'll be saying, "Oh, hello, how you doing?" I mean, for me, I don't want to just waste my time. I know that one is not possible. So I focus on what matters. I'm like, I'm gonna design my slide such a way that even if you are a deaf person, meaning that you don't need to look at my mouth, my slide would explain clearly what I'm doing by just me moving it from like slide 1 to slide 20 without me saying a word. So meaning that even if you don't hear what I'm saying, you can follow my slide and trust God for wisdom and co. And I prayed and bam, I did that slide. It was so simple. It was my first major. It was so simple that like a deaf person just looking at the slide, you understand what you understand the business. And that's what we did. And we won. So the best, so we did, it wasn't about the accent, it wasn't about Olu knows how to speak. He sound like American, he sound like like an English person. No. Everybody was okay with what I was doing, but like we understand what he was doing. We were able to look at it on the slide, even if he probably not pronouncing there where they were saying D or he was calling batteries. I mean, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, people were able to clearly see what I was doing. So again, like understand these things and understand what the capacity you need to build. For raising funding, right? It's all about like you looking for information. So whatever you are doing, you are just one information away from like what could change everything you are doing. So aggressively look for information. For me, I subscribe to newsletters. I look for information. There's nothing like a repo where things are. I mean, there's some sites where they put there's some Twitter pages, some sites where they put some like they kind of create some opportunities here and there where you get a lot of opportunities and whatever. But again, the question is that some of the opportunities doesn't align with what you have. So you yourself should be the one to like start doing some Google search about like where are the opportunities in. I'm doing agriculture. Where are the opportunities in agricultural stuff? Don't expect people to do it for you. And don't say, okay, bro, Mr. Gbenga, if you see the opportunity, send it to me. Guess what? Everybody's busy with their own problem. So nobody's probably going to send anything to you. Just forget about it. So just focus, you that you need it. Go and look for it yourself. All the opportunities I've got in my life, majority of things I've go chase for myself, not things that somebody brought to me. You get to a stage where people start bringing stuff to you. That stage is going to come. By the early stage, you go and look for every single thing yourself. You smoke through every single thing. But at the end of the day, you are the one that knows what you are looking for. So you go and look for it. And some of the opportunities will come, you quickly grab it. And you sometimes evolve beyond the opportunities. But again, for funding, you have to be the one you have to like go aggressively look for information yourself. Just the way you have to aggressively look for information when you are building. It's part of the work of building actually. Because as you are building, you have to think about how do I sustain this, what I'm building. So funding is not abstracted from building. It's a piece of building. And you have to think about it holistically. Is it like you are going to get a rich revenue? Is it that you need like maybe 100,000 naira to build whatever you're building? Or do you need this? Like all these things will be factored in. I mean, The Bible says, like, who is it that builds something without counting the cost, right? Without taking time to count the cost. You have to count the cost of what you are doing. And that's why you have to know, okay, should I start very low? Should I start very high? Should I just use these resources? Should I just use it? When I get to this point, do I get a much more stuff? And the beauty of, and what the Holy Spirit does is also the fact that once you commit to it genuinely, the mercy of God will start directing you into like what you need to do. But you need to genuinely commit to it, not committing to it and say, bro Emeka, please, if you see something, let me know. Then you now sit down. You're expecting bro Emeka that is probably chasing his life to come and give you information. My sister, my brother, doesn't work that way. For me, I go in and sniff through every, because again, it's also a part of learning where you need to find a way to like, you need to be able to comb a lot of noise and look for value inside the noise. Like look for, you know, the way when people go and dig gold, right? You look for gold in the dust. Gold is a mix of dust and gold. So you need to be able to look for it in the raw whatever. So sometimes you're just reading some information and you can just a tiny thing, you extract it and you'll be able to see more. I mean, that's why if you're building anything or you're doing anything, I mean, especially in the innovation space where I am, entrepreneurship space, you have to be a learner. You have to be a learner. You have to be learning every day. Because some of the things, and guess what? The challenge is that some of the things that you learned a year ago is no more applying right now. The world is moving in a very interesting way. If you're not very careful, you get caught unawares. So you need to be like on top of your game, constantly learning, constantly thinking, constantly evolving, constantly taking in useful information, constantly flushing out useless information that's like now obsolete because the world is evolving. Like I said, there's no specific paper I say, oh, bang, this is here. You have to, I mean, we have Google, we have ChatGPT right now, we have a lot of things right now that you can explore. Reach out to people on LinkedIn, talk to people, get coffee, have a coffee chat with people, ask them questions. Like Yoruba will say, like just continue to ask questions. The process of asking questions, you are going to learn a lot, and you are going to build capacity to know where to look at and how to look for like funding. And like I said, funding what you are building is a critical part of the building process. It's not an abstracted part of it. So it's not like I'm building, but I don't know where to get the money. No, it's a critical part of it that you need to think through in the process of creation. I don't know if that answers the question, Emeka.
Gbenga. Yeah. You did justice to that, and I'm pretty just amazed. Gbenga, thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is amazing. Okay, so I want to read some comments here, and some things that people just wrote from what you said. Okay, someone is saying, Gbenga, this is such an awesome conversation. The parts you talked about being brutally honest with ourselves. I think that's very, very important. You know, I can remember when we probably make guys prepare for a pitch, and Gbenga will be like, Emeka, I'm going to call you by 2:00. Are you available? I say yes. Okay, this is what I want to do. I want to pitch this idea to you, and I need you to be brutally honest with me. As a Gbenga will pitch to me, and when it's done, I give him my comments. He goes back, he pitches to me again, and then by the time he's pitching to me, he has probably pitched to another 5 group of people who probably I'm not aware of. And by the time he goes to do the pitch itself, because he has learnt again, he has known what doesn't work, how not to communicate what he wants to talk about, and what not to even share. You know, he goes there and he hits the ground running into those term. And I think that's very, very incredible. You know, being honest with yourself. And I think that if you are building, you should really look for people that can be honest with you, right? People that can tell you the truth, guy. This thing they do, this is not the way to do about it.
Yeah,
And I think that's something that Gbenga really
and
like
you mentioned that part of that.
does.
I mentioned that part of
Sorry,
like I should mention that part of being brutally honest. That sincerely, no, you should have some kind of friends that you know that they will be honest with you. And if you are the guy that if you love your emotions to be egoed, so you love people not to tell you the truth. Actually, what happens is that people will start telling you lies, and you start believing your lies. If that's what you want, like if you're not very, and if you observe that people around you are like that, like leave them alone. Go to the places where nobody even knows you, and they will tell you, "Oh God, this is it." If your family members are going to be telling you the truth every time, don't talk to them. Go and talk to a stranger that will not care about whether your feelings is bad or not. For me, I have some friends that I know that I'm like, "Oga, tell me the truth about this thing. It is not going to work. So that I don't want to waste my life. Again, time is the currency of life. So there's no point wasting time on something that is totally useless or not
Very,
worthwhile.
very profound. Very profound, very profound, Gbenga. Thank you so much. And someone is saying here, like you said, excuse is cheap. It can be found anywhere. That is truism. Gbenga. I've never heard that before. Excuse is cheap and it can be found anywhere. That's like really, really top notch. I need somebody to screen grab this for me. And in fact, I will do that myself here. As somebody said, we have to put in the work, like you said, and not wait for things to be handed over to us. And I think that's like very critical. And for me, because Gbenga knows I'm a pan Nigerian. That there's any word like that. And just recently, I had to like take up a course, right? A program for politics and stuff like that. Not because I'm planning to run for elections in the next 2, 3, 4, 5, even 10, 15 years, but because I felt that, man, I can't I can't be in the same space with everybody who's talking, everybody in Nigeria, their knowledge of politics in on Twitter or the version they get from Twitter, and want to be a force in that sense, want to make a change. And just being in class, it's been exhausting, right? But just being in class for the past few days, has shown me that America, little or nothing about the Nigerian politics. There's so much you can learn, and I can imagine when I'm done what I would know. So I think that's really very profound. Excuse is cheap; it can be found anywhere. You have to put in the work, and waiting for things to be handed over to you will not work. Gbenga, thank you so much for coming here today. I feel like you'll come in again very soon. And I'm going to say this, I never said this to you. I remember one time I brought Gbenga for an event for university students in school. Okay, someone has a question here, and I'm going to ask that question. But I'm going to quickly just say this. I remember when I think Gbenga was outside the country. I brought Gbenga and someone else, and wanted to talk to students in church, um, campus students in church about success in school and also being able to build while in school. And by the time we had done, someone said, that guy, that Mr. Gbenga, that's what he used, was rough on us. Like, he came in hard. And I'm grateful because Gbenga is passionate about stuff, and Gbenga would always tell you the truth. And I think that being able to have people that can tell you the truth is very important and is transformative for you. All right, so this is the question that someone is asking. And I don't know why they're asking me, but yeah, I would, I think because of the comments you've made, that's why this person is asking this question. Chiamaka is asking, how do you grow your emotional capacity to handle failure and disappointment when building in order not to cripple your ability to go again after failing? I don't know if you want me to go over that question again.
Yeah, I think it's a clear question. How do you grow your emotional capacity to handle failure and disappointment when building in order to not cripple your ability to go again? Thanks for that question, Chamaka. I think it's a great question. I mean, something about failure is that, like I said, you get to a point where you are failure becomes like what you sleep and wake up in. Like for me right now, I did some deals this year that was pure failure, like zero, zero. Like I put in 100, I got zero, and it's fine. But mentally, I mentally condition myself that, like I said, if you're not failing, you're not doing something right, and you have to make sure that failure, it can't just be, it can be a failure when it comes to, let's say, the financial output, but it should not be a failure when it comes to knowledge, because at the end of the day, you should have learned one or two things. I don't get emotional about failures. I kind of sit down, analyze, look at what I've done better, look at what I did and did not get the result, and take that mental note. So that mental note forces you to be you just mentally aware. Guess what? If somebody else do the same thing that you do, there's a possibility somebody else will also fail with the same bias that you have. But when you do it, you are going to do it with a different kind of like variable, and that automatically allows you to know. It kind of automatically shifts the outcome. So the outcome may be positive or negative, respective. But instead of the outcome, you are learning something new. And that's why you see the likes of like Elon Musk says that they tried the rocket out like 4 times. I mean, the fourth launch was when they got it right. That was 3 back-to-back failure. They could have stopped at the first failure. But the question is that you don't learn something you can't just read in the book. I mean, try to learn as much as possible as you can. But there are some things that you don't just get to know until you put things out. It's just impossible for you to know the outcome. So just put it out, and that's why sometimes it's very good you start small so that you are able to. So when the failure comes, it's also something that you can manage and contain. But don't get emotional about it. Look at it as a learning process. I mean, like I said, my own what I did for myself was that I studied a lot of biographies, right? And that biographies gave me some kind of mental note, such a way that when I was failing, I was looking at that failure as a signal for success. So I kind of like turned my reality upside down, which is funny. So that kind of helped me manage the emotional baggage that comes from failure. I came from my mom is a civil servant, and my mom is very like she's very she just she want my mom is a civil servant, and I mean she worked for like 30 something years, and she came from a world where they want certainty because they want some level of predictability. But for me, at the point, I got obsessed to not being the lack of the fact that the world is a mess, and the world is not a mess. I mean, for the fact that the world is very unpredictable, there's so much uncertainty. So I actually just love that uncertainty to the point that right now I'm okay when there's uncertainties. I actually love uncertainties more than even certainty because at least certainty I can predict the outcome. Uncertainties, the outcome could be 1 million or zero. So I think if you look at whatever you are doing as a learning process, the insight that comes out of it kind of like water down any emotional challenge that comes through it or any emotional baggage that comes to the failures. If you're able to clearly see the lessons. For example, let me give you an example. I'm not going to go into specifics here. We had a product that we started in January we are winding down on some of one or two of the products. But the question is that product open eyes. We didn't know about the operational complexity of the product. We didn't know it's going to be so and I have a team of like almost 20 people that work day and night to make sure this product. We put in every single thing, money, contact. We're building a lot of relationships to make sure this product work. But we got to learn that there was a fundamental problem that if we don't, there's a fundamental cultural problem that if that problem is not solved, whatever you are building on top of that product is going to continue to fail. And that's why we have a lot of failures outside. So I was like, for me, it was like looking at the product holistically and asking myself, business that's like, do we really fail or we just got something wrong? And I was like, there's a cultural challenge that we are dealing with that is not that you can't solve with technology. So initially I was thinking, you can solve everything with technology, you can solve everything with the process innovation and co. But this one is cultural. It's cultural that it's been around for almost like years. And you can't just wake up someday and think technology can change culture. So you need to think about it from a different. I'm like, so basically we need to address this problem before we are not able to address this problem and this problem. So we went back to the drawing board, back to first principle. And right now, and what that created also is that automatically created a new product from that product. So before we're going to this, to like A. From A, we got not getting to A made us understand that we actually have to go to Z, Y. Once we solve Z, Y, then we have the enough resources to come and solve A, B, C. And right now, that Z, Y now becomes like a very unique insight that we got that nobody, even most of the people that have shut down doing those kind of stuff, that just went back and was slimy, this thing doesn't work, They didn't look at it holistically. They didn't look at it from the lens of like, what are the unique lessons that if these things were right, this could have been a big success. We were like, we are going to make this right. If we can make this right, then this can open doors to like more massive opportunity for us as a company. So right now we are trying our best. We are working out some things to like jump on that problem next year. So it's just giving you a context that like there's no failure in anything. It's just a function of like you understand what are the lessons that thing brought. Like let's say you try to sell a product and the product did not, nobody came to sell the product. The first question is that how are you selling the product? Is the product right? Is it the right time? Those questions they are like critical, and you have to ask yourself the question, not get emotionally drawn into whatever. And if once you are realistic with yourself, the joy of the new insight sometimes clouds that drama that comes from failure. And more importantly, the more you do this, the more you get used to like some part of this is going to fail. Just knowing that by default, even just remove a lot of drama from your life. For me, When I do stuff mentally, I already know that some part is gonna fail. I don't even bother. I'm already, that failure is like I'm already putting my hand like this failure come because I know you are coming. The question that I need to know what I'm going to learn from you, so that it's not like a I don't lose you. I don't lose. I don't. I mean, there's somebody. I think it's somebody that said that I don't lose your pain. Like there's a lot of things that pain that there's some of deep lessons that come from pain. And if you don't take that lessons, it's gonna happen again. It's gonna happen again. It's gonna happen again. It's gonna happen again until you've taken in the core insights that really matter that you can now use to like forge ahead. I don't know if I answered that question
Gbenga,
really
thank
well.
you so much.
Yeah.
That's really good stuff. I want to say thank you so much for joining us today. So I'm asking myself, do we want to do this in December? Guys, I don't know. I think December is a lot. But yeah, I'll let you guys know if we would go ahead and have an event in December. But in January, we'll have something really good because it's a new year for people. And I think it's basically helping people to build a plan for the new year in terms of building, not your life in that sense, but something that will really like help you to um, create a model that you can apply over the next 1 year. That's my goal. I want to see people build after this, right? I want you to take action. And like I said initially, when you fill the form, you probably saw that we requested that you you let us know if you want mentorship. We'll think about that, right? And it's not something we're going to rush into. People like Gbenga, people like Samuel, and every other person that will come here can decide to say, okay, I want to do a bit of mentorship, share some of these ideas I have. I don't think I'll be willing to do that. Yeah,
For sure.
and we'll see how that goes. I want to say thank you so much. I can see over we've been around 68 people here. We grew to that number. I think I learned something here that 7 o'clock may not be the best time for this, maybe 8 o'clock. So we are learning,
Especially on
right?
Saturday, right? When people are like chilling. People are probably chilling right now.
Yeah, so definitely, I'm going to think about that, talk to the team, and we'll see how we work that because, yeah, it's about learning, reflecting,
Yeah.
and asking yourself, is this working? Can it be better and stuff like that? I want to appreciate. If you notice, we are on Gbenga Dennis account because by the time we found out that um, Google had closed up our account and we had issues, and it would take 2 days, and the event is today. There was no way we were going to resolve that. And he immediately opened all of his accounts. Please follow him on Twitter. He's an influencer on Twitter. He's a big shot on Twitter, doing incredible stuff. Please follow him. Do what to follow Gbenga as well. Follow Reddy, REEDDI, on Instagram or LinkedIn to see what they are doing. You know, see what they are. Go to their page, just see what they are building. It will encourage you to build. See how they are building, not just what they are building, but how they are building. Follow Ready, follow Carry.Africa, follow the Oganiru Convo on Instagram and every other platform. Thank you guys so much. I'm really excited that everybody here showed up. You guys are amazing. I'm happy. This is the first time this is the second time I'm having this, and we are currently at 70 viewers. I'm not just excited about the number, but I'm excited about the impact that this is having on people. And I want to say this to people who have my contact. If you're my friends, you're on this call, please send me a message on WhatsApp. Let me know what you think about this. What should we have done better? We're going to also put out a feedback form. So I'm sure the guys are listening. We're going to put out a feedback form. Send it to everybody who we have their email. Let's know what you think about this, what we can do better, and stuff like that. We also want to learn, right? And we're learning from Gbenga to know that we need to get feedback and know how this thing goes. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are amazing. Please help me celebrate Gbenga. Gbenga,
Yeah,
thank you
thank you
so
so much.
much.
Thanks for
You
having me
are
as well.
amazing.
I had
Yeah,
a
yeah,
nice.
yeah. Yeah, thank you so much, Gbenga. I really appreciate you. I'm sure I'm going to look for you and we'll see before you jack by
Sure.
again.
I mean, I'm probably
Sure.
here more now, so yeah, it's gonna connect. Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank
Thank you. Really.
you.
Yeah. Go build.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody. So we'll call this a night. See you again soon. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on LinkedIn. You can follow the script teller. So I always post this on my Instagram as well. so that you don't miss out on anything. Have a good day. God bless you. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.